Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by Mark Watkins, as I am each and every Tuesday. Hey, Mark, we said a couple of weeks ago this was a stretch the Dodgers could make some hay. You hoped that, when the Dodgers were losing a couple of games back when that maybe in a week or two, or probably in a week or two, you'd feel a lot better about yourself. That has certainly happened. Got to continue that in Miami.
Yes, it's a great week. Another great week to be a Dodger fan. They've reeled off 8 out of 9 now. They had a 7-game streak and then lost 1-1 again yesterday. So yeah, as we predicted could happen. It wasn't too hard to predict with their competition, but we thought there was a good chance, and thankfully it's came true. So they're on a nice little run here.
Taking care of business, because the schedule gets a lot harder after this little bit of a run. Especially towards the end of May. So, okay,
exactly.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the pitcher of the month. Wow, what a performance he put on. What a year he's having. Incredible.
Right. He seems to be getting better and better and more comfortable. I mean, obviously it's an adjustment period coming over from Japan and being culturally and from a baseball standpoint, but he just seems to be getting better and better. And I don't know what the ceiling is for him at this point, but he's been phenomenal. It's great to see him perform the way he has. Yeah,
the ceiling is whatever, man. I mean, he's just absolutely done. I love watching him pitch. It's in today's day and age where everything's all about maxing out and it's not about skill. It's about just brute force and how hard can he throw it and overpowering people. To watch somebody use that amount of skill, it's a joy to get to watch, isn't it?
It is. Seeing guys, I always admire guys who kind of master the art of pitching and not just throwing and trying to throw 100 miles an hour every time. Greg Maddux is one of my favorites in that regard. He the way he pitched, he was they called him professor for a reason, but he didn't throw with great velocity, but he knew how to set hitters up and which pitch to throw in which situation and which spot. And Yamamoto, he has some of that in him, I think. So it's going to be exciting to see him pitch through the years.
Yeah, changes speeds, moves the ball different directions. And then also Roki Sasaki. I know, hey, things haven't been perfect for him. He hasn't been exactly what we thought we were going to get with him, but you still have to back up and be super excited for the fact that he got his first major league win. That's a hurdle that can relax you. That's a huge deal. So congratulations to Roki Sasaki.
It is, yeah. That was great to see him get his first win. Obviously, because these days pitchers don't pitch as much. They pitch typically 5 innings. It makes it a little tougher. And now the Dodgers are kind of going with a 6-man rotation at least part of the time. So it's going to make it harder for wins to come by. I think that they used to have like 200 and 300 game winners, but that's I don't know if that'll ever happen again with pitchers. But so the wins are fewer and far between. But it was great to see Roki get his first one.
Good buddy JP Fireisen back into the system. I actually had a chance to talk to JP multiple occasions. Got him on an interview once. Talked to him about his foundation, the Fireisen Foundation. And I'll tell you the one thing that stuck out about JP. Things didn't go the way that he expected them to last year. If you remember, the Dodgers held on to him. They kept him on the 40-man even though he was injured when the Dodgers got him. And that was because they had high expectations for him. And it just didn't work out. I mean, it point blank didn't. And this was about August or whenever it was. I was talking to JP. And when I was interviewing him, he point blank said, the organization gave me a shot. I didn't do what I was supposed to. I mean, just the way that he took on all of it on his own. There was no transfer of blame. It was totally, hey, this is on me. I'll never forget how impressive that was in terms of the accountability that he put on himself. That's why he's back with the Dodgers, because of that type of mentality he has. And so a couple of nice pickups. Ryan Loudis is coming to the Dodgers as well. So super excited about that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as they say, the game can really humble you, and but not all guys are humbled that way, I guess. But JP Fireisen, he has some good ability, and a lot of pitchers they kind of reinvent themselves and tweak their delivery or mechanics, whatever it might be. And so hopefully his second go around with the Dodgers will be even better than the first one. And Ryan, is it Laudos? I pronounce it. has an interesting background. I know that when he's with the D-backs, they hired him to build an app for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and pitch on the side also. So pitching was kind of his the second part of what he was doing, I guess, the job. But apparently he's pretty good with technology. So that was interesting.
Yeah, bullpen has been very good, like we thought it would be. It has been used a lot, so anytime you can get anybody back, that would be great. So we're talking about, obviously, Michael Kopech and Blake Trinan. Kopech mid-May, so we're getting closer to him. Trinan mid-June, so we're still a ways away.
Yeah, unfortunately, they both got transferred to the 60-day DL, or IL. They got pushed back, but I mean, it could end up being a blessing in disguise later in the season if they don't have to pitch quite as many innings. I've been saying the same thing with Kershaw and possibly Ohtani when they come back later. They'll hopefully if the Dodgers can maintain their lead and stay in first place or stay at least in the playoffs, these guys will be ready when the time comes and be fresher later on in the season.
Yeah, like the Dodgers, I've said this for a couple of years. They have an A-team bullpen. Like you have Evan Phillips, Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, and then Anthony Bonda is kind of in and out of that A-team depending on who's available for that night. Alex Vesia is squarely in it. Michael Kopech and Blake Trinan will definitely be in there. But right now, I would have to say the slam dunks, Alex Vesia, and then Evan Phillips. But the 1-2-3 punch that you like to go back to back to back is Evan Phillips, Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott. They have been as advertised, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Evan Phillips, his stuff has just been filthy lately. The pitches, I mean, guys are swinging and missing, not even coming close to hitting the ball. So that's awesome to see, obviously, him being on the beam like that. But as you said, those three guys, it's quite a knockout punch for teams. And, if you get Kopech and Trinan back, you're talking about shutting people down for 5 innings or even 6 with Vesia. So their bullpen could be really strong at the end of the season.
As we knew he would. I mean, he's the greatest player in the game. Ohtani's heating up, and it's just there's a different intensity to this team. There's a different relaxation. There's a different focus when Shohei Ohtani is the one leading this team offensively. I've said that for a while. Absolutely.
You knew it was only a matter of time for him, guys like him and Mookie Betts and some others to heat up, and that's starting to happen. It's just amazing to me how hard this guy hits the ball. Like, he hit one last night that was basically 118 miles an hour, just a line shot over the fence. It didn't go higher than 20 feet, I felt like. It was crazy how hard he hit that ball, but he's fun to watch, obviously, with his power and his speed.
Yeah, we've said Andy Paul has a streak. He definitely is. You've seen that already. He had a bad streak, a good streak. And so now, kind of as somebody who's seen just about every one of his at-bats in the minor leagues, I'm thinking, okay, Andy, we've had the cold streak, we've had the hot streak. Now all you really need to do for the next month or so is just stay away from the bottom of it. Don't go back down to the bottom. Just get you one hit a game. Just I don't care if it's a 5-hopper to the third baseman and you beat it out or whatever. That's what James Outman couldn't do last year. I mean, he just went to rock bottom. He couldn't find a floor that was acceptable.
Right.
So man, it's these. I know the hot streak was fun with Andy Pages, but just from a coach's perspective, the last couple of games where he strung together, I think it's 3 hits total. That's been probably the most relaxing part of it to me. Like, okay, we're setting a floor here. I already knew what the ceiling was whenever, and I already knew what the bottom of it was when it's bad. I knew what the top of it's good. So now I kind of want to see, can we find something in the middle? And that kind of seems what Andy Pages has been doing.
Right. Yeah, he does. He's been hitting, somewhat consistently. Hit the ball pretty hard a couple times last night, and I think for a young player, it's tough to find that consistency that you're looking for. And I think Teo Hernandez, they have a great relationship, and he's kind of working with him to keep him on that even keel and build up his confidence and consistency, and hopefully that'll work. Teo, I think, has a really strong influence on a lot of the players, and he's really kind of almost like the glue that keeps them together. He's really been valuable for the Dodgers, and besides just his on-the-field performance.
I've said this several times, though. I think Teo can raise that floor for Andy because he can keep Andy from going into the the depths of negativity, if you will. And it's all for the right reasons, because Andy, his care factor is so high. He cares so much that he ties himself into knots. And that's really, to me, where Teo has made the biggest influence on Andy, is to keep him from the lows, the negative thoughts. Get out of the negative train of thought. And I'm really hoping, kind of what I'm hitting to here with these last couple of games, instead of going right back down and then being the Andy that we've always seen, maybe you can get the highs. We see the highs with Teo, and then maybe as they start going back down, because of the influence Teo's had, the positivity that he's given Andy with that mentoring relationship, maybe that can keep Andy in a positive enough mindset to where you don't get the bottomed out lows like we've had with him in the past. Let's hope that happens, all right?
Yeah, I sure hope so. I mean, the game is so mental, and it's tough to stay in the right frame of mind. And these guys, I think they start overthinking a lot, and you have to kind of go back to the basics sometimes, just see the ball, hit the ball, that kind of thing. But it's easy to get into a rut, fall into a slump, and start losing a little bit of confidence. So Teo's been really valuable in keeping Pajas on track, I think.
You know who else has been invaluable to this team? And it is no surprise if you follow Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. You should not be surprised about Jack Dreyer, who got the open last night. First of all, give us your thoughts on him overall, and then last night's performance. Ben Kasparius, I've been asked a million times, is this a good deal making him a starter? Hell yes, it's a good deal making him a starter. I mean, the guy's like a bull in terms of strength. He has two centerpiece type pitches. Absolutely, he's always been a starter. I was so excited. What'd you think about the open of Jack Dreyer, his season to this point, and then the bulk inning piggyback? They call that a piggyback, what Ben Kasparius did. A piggyback is basically a starter that doesn't start. So you're not starting, but you're expected to knock down bulk innings. So what did you think about the piggyback of Ben Kasparius last night?
Both of these guys have been huge for the Dodgers this year, and Dreyer, it's good to see him bounce back, because I know he had a couple of he struggled a little bit there, but it's as we both know, it's a game of constant adjustments. The hitters and the other team are trying to find any little thing they can do that be successful, increase their success against you, and they're really good at dissecting young players, and that's why they have to keep making adjustments themselves. But Dreyer, he seems like he's back on track, and Kasparius, I mean, he's just been huge for the Dodgers, filling in a variety of different roles, and he's another guy. I mentioned Sasaki earlier, but don't really know what his ceiling is yet, because he's been phenomenal. He has a great.
He continues to go up. That's why.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's but he has really good stuff, and he's kind of a bulldog on the mound. So it's great to see him have the success and contribute the way he has.
Zero fear. You're gonna have to explain. You're gonna have to explain this one to me. Hey, and I am super open-minded. I'm not one of these grumpy old men. Get off my lawn. I am just like the Dodgers. I have a growth mindset. If there's something new for me to learn that can make me a better baseball person, I am all ears.
Oh yeah.
So whenever we message back and forth, you said, I'm impressed with Conforto in the field. I'm all ears.
Right. He's that's something. A lot of guys, they kind of let their lack of hitting, or they're struggling at the plate, they let it kind of bleed over to their defense. And by the time they reach the major leagues, most guys have kind of learned not to do that. But Conforto, I didn't really know how good he was defensively when he came in, and he doesn't have great speed or anything like that. But he's made a few plays in the outfield that have really impressed me. So it's good to see him contributing defensively in left field.
So do you think he's a good defensive left fielder?
Well, I mean, he's adequate. I don't know if I'd say he's above
That's
average.
Been a frustration of some Dodgers fans. It's like, we're not getting the offense or the defense. So you're kind of going out there on that deal. That's kind of why I'm saying that.
Well,
which is good. I like that. I'm wanting to hear it.
Well, I'm trying to find ways to praise him, I guess, a little bit. But he's made a few plays out there that have impressed me a little bit. Like he went back and jumped up and caught one that was over his head, and he's probably an average left fielder to be in all honesty, but he's made a few nice plays out there lately. So.
All right, CT3. It's always good to see CT3 get some hits, because, like we always say, like it or not, he is going to be on this team likely at least until he reaches his 10-year pension numbers, probably beyond that. I mean, the Dodgers aren't just going to say the next day, thanks, Chris, appreciate it. I mean, I couldn't see that being – so having said that, he's going to be on this roster, so you might as well root for him to do well, so it's always good to see CT3 have success.
For sure, yeah. He's, as I mentioned before, he's one of my favorite players, just with all the abilities that he has. But obviously, he's struggled over the last couple of years. So far this year, he's been doing all right, and I feel like he seemed like he was looking more confident in the box last night. He hit that double down the line, and he's kind of back to attacking the ball a little bit more, I feel like, instead of being as defensive, it seems like. So it's good to see him have some success.
Got to break the story on Ha-Seong Kim on Friday night, Saturday morning. That was a nerve-wracking deal, but it was a lot of fun. And he got his first start last night, had 2 hits. Now, they wasn't like he hit it like 7,000 miles an hour, but Dodgers fans got to see the speed, and they just got to see the fun nature of which he approaches life, like Teo, and then the fun nature of which he plays. I think beyond anything else, what Dodgers fans took away from Ha-Seong Kim last night was, that dude's really fun to watch.
He is, and kudos to you, by the way, for breaking that story. But it was fun to see him come up finally and get in the lineup. And he is fun to watch. He obviously has a lot of abilities with his speed, and he's one of those guys who can really, I think, disrupt the pitcher. Last night you could see he was he's one of those pesky guys who gets on base and is a threat to go all the time. So it was fun to see him play last night. And obviously he's great defensively. He's got good speed. He can slap the ball around. Got a little bit of power. So yeah, it's great to see him contributing. All
right, Mark, you ready to take a trip down the farm?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, first guy I know you wanted to talk about. This is him right here. This is a guy that the Dodgers got back in the Caleb Ferguson trade. Really cool. You had a chance to talk to Mike Linskog the other day. You are going to be a credentialed media member to the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Congratulations on that, Mark. And you actually went the other day, got to see Christian's on his way to, you messaged you like, second pitch of the game, Stockton went yard. Not going to be a good night, right? And the next thing you know, that was the only run they scored the whole night. So you got to see Christian Zazueta from up close and personal, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That was fun. I got to go. I didn't get to see the whole game, but I saw the beginning of it. And as you mentioned, I got to meet Mike Linskog, who's a great guy. We had a nice little conversation. And Christian, it wasn't the ideal beginning for Christian, but he settled down and pitched a really good game after that. And he seems really composed on the mound. He has really good stuff. So it's going to be exciting to watch him.
Yeah. So I had a question. As we move, we're going to bounce around a little bit. That's okay. We're just going to kind of go through guys that just kind of are on the top of our brains. I had a question the other day. Is Kendall George a guy that will ever make a major league roster? Of course, the reason why you ask that is he strong enough? Can you take a guy on your roster that's going to hit 2-3 home runs, that kind of deal? So that's the concern people have. But you've had a chance to watch Kendall George at Rancho. You've seen him to this point in this season. Your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's tremendous athletic ability and really good bat-to-ball skills. He's a very, patient hitter. I think he's advanced in that sense, and I think he'll develop at least some gap power and maybe a guy who can hit, maybe 10 to 15 home runs when it's all said and done. And I think, it seems like baseball may be swinging a little bit back towards the athletic and fast guys. The Dodgers, obviously, like we talked about, they brought a lot of those guys into the organization, and I love that type of baseball. And so Kendall George, it's really fun to see him play, and I think he's got the high ceiling with the Dodgers.
Yeah, and he's a guy that has that infectious, positive personality too. He's a lot of fun. This is actually that's Jaron Elkins right there. Let me get to Elijah Hainline. Let me get to his last performance. This is Elijah laying down a bunt right there. Young man who went to Wazoo and then Oregon State, had a really good regional, then super regional last year for the Beavs, and got drafted and has really impressed. This is a guy that I really like because he's very strong, and he just seems very advanced in almost everything he does. So you've seen him in person. Your thoughts of Elijah Hainline, massively underrated, isn't he?
Yeah, I would say so. He's got a good all around game, and he's fun to watch. I love guys who can lay down a bunt because when a pitcher is really tough to hit, it's a great way to kind of get him out of his rhythm. And so I love seeing that when a guy can lay down a bunt. He's obviously Hainline has good power as well. He can hit the ball in the gaps, and as you said, he has a very advanced approach. But his all around game is just really strong.
Yeah, he's a very good defender at shortstop. He's played some third base. He could play second. Good arm, great athlete. And he loves, it's like, hey, man, hit the ball to me. You're out. You hit the ball to me, you're out. The bigger the situation, the better he is. He loves those big moments.
You have to love that, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and he loves that ephus pitch, too. Did you see that? Let me back this up. Watch this. This one's the other day. Whoop! I would have been 0 for 78 on that pitch. I would have had absolutely no success.
Yeah.
That slow pitch softball stuff, I can't hit it, man. It's too slow for me.
Yeah, it's funny. I play
this is
softball
Jackson Ferris, by
still.
the way. Yeah,
right,
sorry.
but it's tough for major leaguers to adjust to that. We saw that with Kike when he came in and pitched, but it's tough for them to adjust to that. I played. Mickey Hatcher came out and played softball against us one time, years ago.
Cool.
Yeah, and I didn't even know it was him until the end of the game, but he did not make contact the whole game. But he said they pulled him out of a bar, in all fairness. So
yeah, you're seeing Jackson Ferris here, that backdoor slider, the back foot slider, the 97 mile-an-hour fastball there up at the top of the zone. So you might say, what? I've had this question, and then what's going on with Jackson Ferris? His ERA is 5, blah, blah, blah. And this is why we always say context. You can't just pick up a box score with these minor leaguers and go, well, he's hitting this, or his ERA is that, no. Okay, so first of all, his ERA as a starter is like 120. I think it's actually like 118. So
right.
when he's been in a starting role, he has been the dominant Jackson Ferris that everybody expects. So what happened to him is Clayton Kershaw came back down and he chose Tulsa for not his last rehab, but the rehab before that. And so that was actually the day Jackson Ferris was supposed to start. So Jackson Ferris got put back into the bullpen. So until Sunday, Jackson Ferris's previous 2 outings had been in the bullpen, not because the Dodgers are trying to make him a bullpen piece, but because of the situations like Clayton Kershaw coming down. And the 2 bullpen outings have gone completely sideways on him. But as a starter, like whenever he gets to go through his normal routine and do everything and get into his comfort zone, he has been totally dominant. So actually everything is more positive now with Jackson Ferris than ever.
Yeah, I would agree. It's, sometimes I see this with some fans. They see a guy's ERA and they're like, oh my gosh, he's got an ERA over 5, whatever it might be. But especially this early in the season, it only takes 1 or 2, rough outings to have your ERA just skyrocket. Right. And then it takes a while, a lot of good outings to get it back down. And it's not always easy to be switching roles like that. It's one thing that, has made me really impressed with Ben Kasparius and what he's done for the Dodgers, because they're using him in different roles and he's doing well in all of them. It's great to see Jackson Ferris have that start, and he probably has more upside than any young pitcher in the Dodgers organization right now.
Totally agree. I'll tell you another guy that has been absolutely killing it so far this year in the Dodgers system. How about Jose Ramos? Again, a young man, 24.3 strikeout rate. Let's keep it under 25, Jose. He's got a 10.3% walk rate. His ISO is still almost an entire point higher than his K percentage. So that means that his power index is a positive relationship to his strikeout percentage. That's what that means. WRC plus, are you sitting down? WRC plus for Jose Ramos, 169. Wow. So what needs to happen, Ramos needs to get promoted to AAA Oklahoma City. And then that allows like Zaire Hope or Josue de Paula to move to Tulsa. That gets Mike Sirota up to Great Lakes. That's the chain of reaction that needs to happen, in my opinion. But Jose Ramos off to a great start.
Yes, the way all these guys are hitting, it seems like they deserve a promotion already. But I don't know if the Dodgers will wait till midseason to do that. Ramos is one of them. He just keeps hammering the ball and impressing. It's great to see.
He does. He does. So let's see. All right, next guy we're going to talk about is James Outman. James Outman, we'll see if he gets called up today. Don't take that as like breaking news or anything. But with the Teo Hernandez situation, James Outman is certainly one of the guys that is in consideration. I don't have any inside information on that, but just knowing how the org does, I would have to think he's like massively in consideration. And so he's been hitting the ball really, really well lately. I mean, he's been smoking hot the last month. He has his WRC plus up to 105, still a 33% strikeout rate. That just is what it is with James Outman. But his walk rate's up to almost 10%. His batting average, I know you're thinking, I don't know how you're going to brag on like a 250, 260 batting average, but for him, where he started, the last month has been really good. So, James Outman.
Yeah, he's been on fire, and he's a guy who obviously has had to make continuous adjustments throughout his career, and he's had a lot of peaks and valleys already, but it's nice to see him bounce back. As I mentioned on the last podcast, I know he changed his stance and his stroke in spring training, so it's been another adjustment period for him. But it seems to have caught on, and he's hitting the ball really well. So yeah, he may be up. I don't know how serious it is with Teo, but if he does go on the deal, I would think that James Outman would be one of the first considerations to be brought up.
Yeah, here's another guy that I won't say he flies under the radar because he is a top 30 type prospect. But a guy that still doesn't get a whole lot of, he doesn't get like the Josue de Paula, Zaire Hope type publicity. But Logan Wagner, man, switch hitter. He has home runs from both sides. He has several, like 5 or 6 different games where he has a hit from both sides of the plate. Keep in mind, you see the hoods on. I mean, it's freaking cold in the Midwest League. So Logan Wagner, this is a guy that really you need to pay attention to because he can play some third base, he can play first base, and with Jake Geloff on the IL right now, that kind of frees up Logan Wagner to play a lot, whatever position he needs to. But, hey, not off to like an incredible start or anything, but considering the injured past and the fact that it's in cold weather, I call it a great start for Logan Wagner, considering all the situations and the context.
Right. It's great to see. I mean, he's a switch hitter, so that helps. And I feel like doesn't seem like there are that as many these days, but looks like he hits the ball hard from each side. He has a really nice stroke, and he's fun to watch. But yeah, he's definitely I would think on the Dodgers' radar now. Yeah,
WRC plus of 140, walk rate of 12.4%, 28.9% K rate. So that's probably. That needs to come down just a bit for him. If he does that and puts the ball in play a little bit more, then you might be hitting 280 instead of in the 250 range, that kind of deal. We've seen that with Jose Ramos, how that helps. So the last guy we're going to talk about here, you're going to save for a lot of people the best for the last, and that would be Josue de Paula. Your thoughts on his start to this season?
Wow, he just continues to impress. He's I don't know what else he can do from a hitting standpoint, but he's always had an advanced approach and uses the whole field. His power is continuing to develop, and I'm super excited to see him move up in different levels. I think it won't be long before he'll be up probably in AA. So yeah, it's exciting.
How about this? His strikeout rate is a little bit more than 6% lower than his walk rate. He has a walk rate of 19.3% and a strikeout rate of 13.2%. I literally don't think, I've heard like Austin Gauthier having more walks than strikeouts and that kind of deal. I'm not sure I've ever heard of 6 points lower of a strikeout percentage than a walk rate. And then the ISO is almost 6 points higher than the strikeout rate as well. So you have that sandwich there. So you have the strikeout rate in the middle is 13.2%. Your walk rate is 6 points higher than that, and your ISO, your power index, is 6 points higher than that. That's like something I'm telling you, I've never seen that before. And because of that 275 average, he has a 156 WRC plus. So Hey, final thoughts on Paula, and then we will get out of here.
Well, yeah, he's those are just eye-popping stats, and it's super rare. I mean, there just aren't very many players. As you said, I don't even remember guys recently. Dalton Rushing may have been like that at some point. I'm not really sure, but probably not even that high. Where his walk rate is that much higher than his strikeout rate. But that's super impressive for a young player, and especially a guy who's as I mentioned last week, he's younger than most of the competition in the league by a couple of years. So.
All right, Mark. Hey, I brought you back over. So final thoughts here as we put a bow on this show. Get ready for the second game in Miami.
Yeah, I just wanted. I saw that Ross Stripling retired, so I wanted to wish him well in his retirement. He's obviously a guy that came up in the Dodger organization and had some memorable moments for them and had a really good career. So wishing Ross well in his retirement.
All right, man, Mark, appreciate it. My name is Casey Porter for Mark Watkins. Want to remind you, all you Dodgers dogs out there, as part of the Dodgers Daily Network, you are absolutely the best. Not the biggest crowd, but the best fans in the world. No doubt about that. So for Mark Watkins, I'm Casey Porter. As always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.